Hey, what's going on, everybody? Let me make a couple adjustments here. All right, first thing first. Can everybody hear me okay before we go any further? All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate the feedback. I'm going to do a quick test with everybody. I want to see if everybody can hear this. I'm going to screen share.
That's affirmative.
Battalion 1 fire control.
Go ahead, Battalion 1.
Okay. Let me cancel that. All right, everybody. Well, let's get started. We're going to talk about the Fairfield Avenue house fire. And just from the number of comments, there's plenty of stuff that we can talk about with this. So let me get this rocking and rolling. All right. So the house we're talking about is this green one over here. It's basically an enclosed front porch. And you'll see when we pull up here, basically this enclosed front porch, which had furniture on it, this thing was pretty much fully involved.
Would you advise nobody is on fire?
That's affirmative.
Battalion 1 fire control.
Go ahead, Battalion 1.
I'm on the scene. Two-story private dwelling, heavy fire on the front of the building. Chief Decker's going to have Fairfield Command make a working fire. I'm going to be out north 360.
Fire control, you're clear. You're marking on scene, repeat. We do have all occupants out of the home.
Fire Control Battalion 1, I'm on the scene with a working fire. Did you copy?
Affirmative. Battalion 1 on the scene with working fire.
45 Ops 1, Engine 391, Engine 52, 128 Fairfield Avenue on a house fire. Engine 391, Engine 52, each way to Newark, 128 Fairfield Avenue on a house fire.
Command all units, please work on getting the combative occupant out of the back of the building. There is a basement here that is not involved. I've got heavy fire on the front of the building. Prevention 1's on the scene.
Prevention 1 on scene.
Medic 2, I need you to get turned down. When the first arriving engine gets here, you're going to be exposure protection on the Bravo side.
on scene. Engine 541. Each way to Newark.
Medic 1 on scene.
Fairfield Avenue on a house fire.
Fire control,
Mark ladder 2 on the scene. Ladder 2 is going to be attacking the fire. Medic 1, you've got EMS sector.
Copy, EMS.
Engine 52 is responding. Get across region.
240 radio alert.
Ladder 2 on scene. Engine 51 responding.
508.
Cross Street, Mount Vernon Road, Woods Avenue.
Rescue 1's on the scene. You want us to lay in?
Yeah, Rescue 1, right there by Medic 2. Check the hydrant, lay a line into ladder 2.
This one will be on 45 EMS. Medic 201, Medic 202. 202. Rescue 1 will be laying in. Southeast. Unidentified medical emergency. Medic 201, Medic 202. 2026, River Road, Southeast. Unidentified medical emergency.
Fire control to
All right. So we're just about 5 minutes in. We're at 4:42. I want to talk about a couple different things now that he's getting a little bit of a knock on this. So, a couple concerns here. While we were responding to this fire, they had reported that we had people trapped in the building, and they had actually told us that somebody was on fire. So everybody's adrenaline was flowing pretty good here. You can see the on the Bravo exposure over here, siding starting to buckle, starting to look like some taffy. This would always be where you want to attack the fire, because priority number one, confine the fire to the building of origin, and we're going to protect exposures. So let's talk about a little bit about the building construction here. So it's hard to see from this, but let me go back to the street view that I had at the beginning. And if we look, a lot of this stuff is lining up. So anybody able to tell me what kind of construction we're dealing with here, especially if you're not familiar with Newark? Looks like the windows are lining up. This is a balloon frame home. So let me pull that up. So this is the example that I've used previously on training. You can tell that it's balloon frame because all of the windows are lining up. We got this door down here. Another thing that we can do, so there was a lot of fire shown when we first arrived. A lot of times, especially in the city of Newark, is you can simply look at the house next door and it'll give you a pretty good idea as to what you have going on with the primary house. So another thing that I want to talk about as we look at this, is this a 2-story home or is this a 3-story home? I always like to talk about this when I'm doing training. That way we can make sure that we're all talking about the same thing. So I think we know that this is a balloon frame home just based on the exterior features of the house. But is it 2-story or is it 3-story? Or some people would even say a 2.5-story. So this is what I do. This is what works for me, is if it looks like the space up here is occupiable, like would this be a playroom or a bedroom or whatever that needs to be searched, this would be considered a 3-story home. Okay. So if it doesn't look like it's occupiable, then I would call this a 2-story home. Okay. What's important is make sure that everybody in your area is all speaking the same language. because if you say a 2.5 story home, is everybody going to know what you're talking about? So my personal preference is if it's occupiable, then I would go ahead and make that a 3-story home, because that means that we have to search all of those. And then let me find out. All right. I got brand new glasses. I'm still trying to get used to them. So, the other thing that we got to talk about is I want to go back to the video. I'm going to pause this, run it up to where we were at. I can't find a good picture of it. I'm going to turn the audio off and let this roll for a second. There were numerous comments in the uploaded video about me wearing my helmet backwards. And somebody made a comment here. I'm trying to find it. I did put my helmet on backwards. So there you go. There we go. Got my helmet straightened around forward right there. So the reason I done that is I don't remember specifically the task that I was trying to remember, but I always try to add a reminder by one way or another. And on this fire, there was something I was concerned about. And if I remember correctly, it was checking this Bravo exposure to see if it was occupied or not. But I put my helmet on backwards to remind me to get back to this Bravo exposure after I'm done sizing up the house and giving some orders. So there was just a ton of people that made comments in the original video that I posted about my helmet being on backwards. I had replied in the comments that it was a double brimmed helmet, and some people seem satisfied with that, and I just left it at that. So let's get back to the video.
Fire control to engine 541, checking your response.
By the way, I did not have the ladder crew back up on this fire.
Battalion 1 Fire for 20, gas, electric, and I-20.
He said the fire was too hot for him to even get out of the cab.
You're clear, gas, electric, I-20.
I-20's en route.
I-20 en route.
EMS will respond.
EMS 1 en route.
I got the hydrant attached. You want water, rescue 1? Not yet. Copy.
This runway on 45 EMS, Medic 51. Each way to Newark.
Not a 2.5 line.
1 Courthouse
Typically
Square.
on residential fires, we would always go with 1.75 line.
Medic 51.
So,
each way to
Alright,
Newark.
sir, hydrant.
1 Courthouse Square. On a notice.
Command Engine 3, are you coming in from Woods Avenue? That's affirmative. Command, we're coming in from Woods. Engine 3, when you arrive, I want you to pull a separate line off of your vehicles. You're going to back up the crew that's going to Division 3.
Copy. Command. Pulling backup line off of engine 3. Backup for level 3. Attack.
Mr. is on 45 ops 1. Engine 201.
Command Engine 52, I need you to come up Woods Avenue. You're going to catch the hydrant at Woods Avenue and lay a line in to the rescue.
On a house fire.
Correct, you're going to lay a line into Engine 3.
Engine 201. Engine 5.
Engine 3's on scene.
Engine 391. 128 Fairfield Avenue on a house fire.
Engine 52 is clear on your traffic there, Battalion 1.
Medic 1, the battalion.
Go ahead.
We're going to have a patient right here. Just tie us up.
That's clear. Command Liner 2, I've got Rescue 1 bringing a backup line in behind you.
Rescue on the ladder 2, your hose is burned through. On the front porch, your hose is burned through.
Fairfield Command Fire Patrol, give me another medic up here.
You're clear, another medic.
All right, I'm going to stop it right there for a second. Lots of questions coming in that are really good questions. I got to write that time down so I know exactly where to get back to. Okay, so in regards to the hose lines, we now have 3 hose lines in operation. Anytime we are at a residential fire, 99.9% of the time, I'm going to order an 1.75 inch line into operation, just because we don't have a lot of extra people. We run 3-man engine companies, which means there's 2 people on the hose line. So if we were trying to operate with a 2.5, I would have to start doubling companies up or even tripling companies up. Typically, we would only pull 2.5 if it's a commercial dwelling or some other large building where we need that distance and that punch. Let me go to the next question here. Will they wait to get water from the hydrant? Nope. We operate on tank water. We've always done that since when I first got hired back in 1990. And typically second due would always grab the hydrant. Yes. Some of our mutual aid are volunteers. Heath is paid, Granville is paid, Newark Township is now paid. But outside of that, there are some volunteers departments that would come in and give us a hand. Let's see. There was one particular. Here we go. What's my opinion on stuff and apparatus? This is one of those things. I'm not a truck expert, but this is similar to the nozzle thing. We could talk smooth bore versus fog nozzles all day long, and we're never going to get everybody to agree on it. So I prefer the fire apparatus that actually makes it to the fire scene and can pump water. That's just how I am. Let me see. Yeah, we had a second hydrant that we had the mutual aid catch. So I think that was Heath that was coming in. I could tell we were in this for the long haul. If you look, we've got smoke coming from all the way up here at the roof. We had fire in the soffit of the second floor, fire in the soffit of the first floor. I mean, we're dealing with a balloon frame home. So this is not just a porch fire. And I knew that as soon as I pulled up. I knew that we were going to be using multiple lines. Last thing I want to mention is you guys heard them tell ladder 2 that their hose line burned through at the front porch. That's a big deal, especially when you're talking about a fire like this, because they may start advancing to the second floor and then get fire behind them or whatever. And if their hose line goes limp because it's burned through, that's going to be a problem. So again, Rescue 1 was advancing the backup line in. If I remember correctly, what they'd done is Rescue 1 pushed their line up to ladder 2's line, and then they just brought another line in for the backup line. All right. Here we go. Thoughts on when to dump the monitor. So this probably would have been a really good time to do that, except for the fact that the first arriving engine was a Quint. And so we didn't have a deck gun there. I have a couple fires coming up where we actually did hit that with the deck gun. And I got to tell you, we spent a lot of time on getting very proficient on using the deck gun. As a matter of fact, the driver operator would always be the guy that would use the deck gun. That way it didn't steal from our 2 personnel that would be stretching the hose line. So hopefully in due time, we will get to those fires and we'll talk more about that. But yeah, this probably would have been a good time to use a deck gun, except for the fact we didn't have a deck gun on ladder 2. But that's a very good question and a very good point. So, all right, we're going to pick back up where we left off here.
Ladder 2 driver, go ahead and shut down the stop line.
EMS 1 on scene.
This road is on 45 Ops 1. Engine 201, each way to Newark, 128 Fairfield Avenue on a house fire. Second run of progress for Granville. Engine 201, each way to Newark, 128 Fairfield Avenue on a house fire.
Fire Control Battalion 1.
Go ahead.
For nothing out of Newton, North Township, or Granville, are you still needing 3 additional engines?
I should have 5 engines coming, and I'm going to need all 5 of them.
You're clear, sir.
Fire Control Medic 2 is responding back.
Engine 52, command. We're approaching Woods Avenue on Mao, approaching, coming back to you from Woods Avenue. You want the right line?
Affirmative 52, catch the hydrant at Woods in Fairfield. Lay a line at engine 3.
Clear.
Fire Control Battalion 1, utilities notified.
Medicated 2. 2249, Licking Valley Road Northeast, on breathing problems. Cross Richard 7 Hills Road and High Street. Medicated 2. 2249, Licking Valley Road
You're fire knocked down on the second floor. We're searching for 3rd floor access.
Okay, be advised, there's a delay on getting the working fire equipment here, so take your time. It looks like we got fire in the wall going to the Division 3.
Yeah, we're trying to find access now.
EMS 1 command. Go ahead, EMS 1. Second 360 is complete. I'll meet you with a face-to-face. That's clear. Commander Medic 1, extra gear on. I'm going to send you in as soon as I get another medic here.
Medic 2 to command. We're coming across Mount Street now. Correction, Medic 3.
This run, we have 45 off spawn. Engine 691, engine 802. Each way to Newark, 128 Fairfield Avenue on a house fire. Cross streets from Mount Vernon Road and Woods Avenue.
Okay, so the question is, do I have a fast team or a RIT team standing by? Yes and no. I've got 2 members right here that I'm trying to hold outside the building, but you probably heard the radio traffic. They haven't filled the card yet. They're having trouble with mutual aid getting there. So it's making me hesitant about getting too aggressive with this fire, because if the front nozzle team falls through the floor or the ceiling comes down on them, I don't have an abundance of personnel here like I would normally like to have. So you probably heard me say that the card calls for 5 engines and a ladder, and I'm going to need all 5 engines and a ladder at this fire. I think we were either 2 or 3 engines short when the dispatcher asked me about that.
Engine 691, engine 802. Each way to Newark, 128 Fairfield Avenue on a house fire. Second row progress for unit.
Command, what I'm seeing you have assignment.
Medic 3, send with your EMS equipment, report to the front of the building. You'll be the EMS sector.
Copy, EMS.
Commander Medic 1, you're being redirected. Go into her, meet up with Rescue 1, and start opening walls and ceilings.
You're clear. We have a minor we gotta do.
Engine 52, fire control on the scene.
Done.
On scene.
Yeah, so you got family running up the sidewalk behind you here.
Fire control station here, 2's clear on traffic.
No, dispatch was not second guessing me. They were just keeping me informed. Our dispatchers do a really good job about that, making sure that we know exactly what the status of the equipment is.
EMS 1 to command. Go ahead, EMS 1. Yes, sir, be advised. You have an egress ladder. Division 2, Charlie died. Alright, copy. All units, we've got a lateral Division 2 Charlie side. We're working on getting more put up.
Brent 20, command, we need you out of
Always
here.
short on
Go ahead.
staffing. Busy
Alright,
city.
copy.
14-year-old
Water's coming.
just overdosed. It's going to be near the courthouse downtown in a vehicle.
We're at the courthouse.
They said they're close to standby.
Everybody see the smoke coming out of the 3rd? That's not a good sign right there. That tells you you've got free burning fire.
Radio 22, get the SO. We've got everybody tied up here. Give 349 an assist.
Commander Medic 3 said, one of your personnel downstream Medic 1.
349, it's going to be in front of you. This is, he's going to be inside of a
Medic 1 to Medic 3.
van.
Commander Rescue 1, we've got a ladder on the A side of the building on the first floor where you just took the windows down.
Alright, I copy. If you've got fire on down we're going to check the attic right now. I got it.
Okay, all visible fire is knocked down at this time. It's looking better.
S3 radio.
That's 3.
Fire control engine 2 is responding.
16, all not correct.
Engine 802 responding.
That's 10 calls overhaul from Fairfield.
Yeah, the eaves had burned through. As a matter of fact, they were to the point that they weren't safe to even work around it at a certain point in this fire.
Alright, copy. Command Engine 52, are you ready for a reassignment? Commander Rescue 1.
Rescue 1.
You have visible fire in the soffit of the second floor roof area on the A side and also on the AV corner if you can make it over that direction.
Clear. We're pulling ceiling on the third floor. Do you have anybody else you can send it to?
Yeah, as soon as I get you guys packed up, I'll have them right up to you.
Alright, you got Rescue 1 and Ladder 2 right now on 3. There's a backup line on 2, and they should be able to do some work if you can get them some help pull the ceiling.
I copy. Command Engine 52, are you ready for an assignment? Affirmative. Alright, report to Division 2. There should be a line on Division 2.
You're clear.
We need you to open your walls and ceiling. Check it for extension. Where? Division 2, checking for extension.
So we ladder
Man, just for your information, Ladder 2 is going to be low on air here in a minute.
Yeah, I'm clear on that.
That's the only point that we run. We have 2 ladder trucks. Both of those ladder trucks has water and pump with some crosslinks.
Fire Controller Battalion 1, working fire assignment is filled.
All right. Let me try to get caught up here on questions. The medic, first arriving medic, did have to treat somebody. It was a minor burn injury. I don't even think that the person went to the hospital. Yeah, I don't have an explanation about why they took that ladder down. This has been so long ago. I'm not exactly sure what the purpose was there. Just don't remember. Yeah, there at the end, most of that was steam. And yeah, I would say at this time, when this fire happened, we had a thermal imaging camera on every fire apparatus. I don't think we had them on the medic units yet. All right. So was I thinking of a second alarm? I was thinking about a second alarm because the rule that I always use is if you have all of your trucks on scene assigned and you have nobody in reserve, then you don't have enough resources on scene. So when at the end of the video, I still had trucks responding, but I had just about everybody on scene assigned. And that's a good rule to remember. You should always have at least 2 companies unassigned, um, in case something goes wrong or whatever. Um, but yeah, this is definitely one of those fires where I might have considered that. All right. So the reason I put my helmet on backwards, I believe it was to remind me to go back to the Bravo exposure and to check and see uh, if we had an all clear on that Bravo exposure. Again, I'm going by memory. I know that I intentionally put my helmet on backwards, and I would do things like that. If if I felt like I needed a reminder to get back to the command car, I wouldn't take my clipboard with me when I got out of the command car. So I would do various things like that to remind me, hey, go back and make sure you get that taken care of. All right. Any other questions? I'll give this just a second. Um, so just a reminder for those people that are interested, um, if you have friends that uh, looking to get in some training, if you're sitting around the station just looking for some training, then you can either jump on my Facebook page or you can just go straight to my Command Vision page. If you just type Command Vision uh, into your search engine, I'm almost positive it'll bring you straight up to this page. Click over to the training blog, and I've got a whole list of things here. Um, for instance, the last one that I just listed here was the Ghent, West Virginia explosion. There's a memorial put up right off of the interstate here. If you're ever down through that area, you could jump off and see where the memorial is. It's actually a beautiful thing to look at. But um, if people's just looking for some good training on the fly, you could always jump on my Command Vision page. And then if you have Facebook, jump on my Facebook page. I try to keep both of them updated. So when I post something like this gas leaks training, it would go to both my Facebook page and my Command Vision page. So how do I run it so smoothly? Well, number one, it's a lot of practice, but probably the 2 things that I would say that keeps it smooth is number one, I use a tactical worksheet. And I'm a firm believer that anybody that is running a fire scene like this should utilize a tactical worksheet. And I can give a speech on that at another time. I do a lot of instructing and I talk about using a tactical worksheet all the time. If you get on my Command Vision page, let me try to do this here. If you go to Command Vision, click on the Downloads tabs, and boom, right here, Tactical Worksheet. That's the one that I use. You can download it for free. It's a little bit slow catching up. Um, but that's the tactical worksheet that I use. If you want to use mine, that's fine. If you want to use somebody else's, that's fine. What I can tell you is they preach this a lot. Everybody should utilize a tactical worksheet um, anytime they're commanding a fire. Uh, yeah, did have a lot going on, bunch of stuff. Um, the other part that I would say is I worked with a great team of guys that made my job much easier. I can't say enough about them. Those fellas always um, top notch. They trained a lot, and um, man, they always gave it 100%. So, yeah, I'm talking in the afterworld because I'm retired. I'm still in a volunteer department, but I am happy to be retired. It's made the family life easier. I'm not up in the middle of the night. I was having some medical issues with migraine headaches from being up in the middle of the night and things like that. So, um, loved what I'd done, loved the people I work with, and man, I miss it, but I don't miss uh, being up in the middle of the night. And I'm digging retirement. I would recommend to everybody work toward retirement. You can never be too young. So, let's see. Is every department different when it comes to hiring someone with diabetes? Yeah. Um, I had to get special clearance. For those of you that are not aware, both me and my brother have juvenile diabetes. We both had insulin pumps. And so I had to get special clearance from my endocrinologist, basically saying that my diabetes was well managed and I could always tell when my sugar was getting low. Um, and that's right by NFPA standards. If your diabetes is not well managed, you will not get clearance to be a firefighter. There's a lot of different things in the NFPA specification, such as if you take blood thinners, you cannot be a firefighter because of the chances of you getting cut or injured or whatever. Do I train directly with the individual companies? Um, yeah, I do sometimes. It just depends on what's going on. Sometimes they don't want me there. Um, uh, Sometimes we will go out to, like an apartment complex and we'll have the whole team there and we'll talk about how we're going to handle, um, a fire or whatever. But I love training with those fellas. They know that I had their back and I knew that they had my back. So I was never shy about training. And like I said, I drive all around the place and do training. I got a couple places coming up here soon, but that's something that I think everybody has to participate in. Is you got to train. Yes, I get this all the time. People say I sound like Nicolas Cage, or he sounds like me, or something. But yeah, um, my wife's laughing because I think every single video somebody has said that. Um, Man, I think he sounds like Nicolas Cage. Um, Let me see. What is the one key thing from your experience as a firefighter battalion chief when on a fire scene? You have a firefighter down. Okay, let me reread this. I want to make sure I'm not sure that I'm understanding your question, but here's what I can tell you. Um, my number one goal was to avoid injuries at all costs. Um, it's impossible to have a perfectly run fire scene where nobody's going to get hurt. But the other thing is you have to be prepared um, for that. It's an eventuality that somebody's going to get hurt on the fire scene. I always had an EMS crew um, on standby. And as a matter of fact, it was to the point that I didn't even really have to announce it. Everybody knew that the second arriving medic unit was going to be the EMS sector, because if somebody got hurt, I wanted to make sure they had immediate assistance. I wanted to make sure that medic wasn't blocked in by 5-inch supply line or anything like that. So, for a volunteer department, first of all, I'm on a volunteer department. That's where I got my start. Both me and my brother joined a volunteer fire department. What I would recommend is train a lot. I read every single NIOSH fatality report that I can read, because I'm a firm believer if you can learn what's killing us, you can prevent that. If you flip over to my page, let me try to pull this back up real quick. I'll share that. It's got the training links. I've got all kinds of different training links here. Go through all of those training links. You can't possibly train enough. And I'm a firm believer that it doesn't matter if you're paid or you're a volunteer. You're expected to perform at a very high level. The community, they don't want to hear any excuses. Hey, we're just volunteers or whatever. Nope. Volunteers or paid people have got to be 100% on their game. Yeah, right back here to my training blog. Thanks, Darren. Train hard all the time. The volunteer department that I'm on, every Thursday night, 7 p.m., we meet. And I'm the training chief, so we don't cut corners or whatever. We're good, and we like to talk about how good we are. But the other thing is we have to be able to back that up. If we're going to say that we're good, we've got to be that good. All right. Anything else? It's getting close to my bedtime. Yeah. Train. All right. I got to give somebody some free merch for coming to the video show. So, Darren, why don't you scroll up through the chat and give me a name of somebody that we can send some free merch to. Here we go. While Darren's looking, any good books that I would recommend? Oh my gosh, countless. I purchased so many books that I could have made a library, because every single time I took a promotion, there was a stack of books that we had to study for. So I'll tell you what, I probably need to make a list of books that would be good to study. And so I will come back to you, Mopar Nick, and I will leave a reply to your comment sometime tomorrow. I'm going to write your name down. And so I'll reply to that, and then I'll put it on my Command Vision website about what books. I've studied so many that I got to be honest, it's a blur now. All right, we got a name. My brother pulled a name here. Daniel Brum. You're getting some free merch if you would like. Email me at commandvisionfire@gmail.com. I think Darren likes your question there. Thoughts on when to dump the monitor over pulling 1 3/4 line. So Daniel, send me an email, commandvisionfire@gmail.com. Please include your shirt size and your mailing address, and I will get you some free merch out to you. And thanks, Darren, for pulling a name for me. Yes. No, I have not had a fatality or on the fire ground Career ending, yes. We had 2 engines collide at an intersection. Let me put that down. It's called the Christmas crash, and it was known nationwide. So I am pledge. I will reply to your comment with the information on the Christmas crash. Um, so yeah, nothing, no fatalities, but ended 2 guys' careers, unfortunately, and that's why we wear our seatbelts now. Is because um, the injuries that was sustained during that crash all could have been prevented um, through the use of seatbelts. All right, everybody. I appreciate you jumping on for the breakdown here. We will be back next month. I'm actually planning on something a little bit new in about 2 weeks. So just watch. You'll see a video pop up. I'm going to talk about a couple fatality reports. Um, and I will see you again in about 1 month for another breakdown video. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Appreciate all of the good questions and all of the support. So I will see everybody sometime soon.